Most people are underworked and they have ill health today. Health is life's way. If you allow life to function fully, it is healthy. Only by using this body you can keep it well. The more you use it, the better it gets. There was a young physician once. He went to his senior colleague and said he had some problem with a certain diagnosis of a patient. Then the senior colleague said, "Oh, nerves and vomiting, is it? Yes, but I don't find any medical reason for him to be having nerves and vomiting." So the senior colleague suggested, you ask him if he is playing golf. If he is playing, you tell him to stop. If he says, "I'm not playing," ask him to play. He'll become okay. Health is like that. Really. Some people are overworked and they have ill health. Most people are underworked and they have ill health today. If you lived here on this planet 200 years ago, physically, you would be doing at least 20 times more activity than what you're doing right now, physically. Definitely, isn't it? You would have walked to this place, you would have done everything with your hands. You would be doing minimum 20 times more activity. I think I'm wrong, 100 times probably. Some of you 250 times. So if you were doing that much activity, then I would have told you, take a break, take some rest. Now, the body has not been used. Only by using this body you can keep it well. When you say health, you're talking about physical health. You must use this body. The more you use it, the better it gets. A few years ago, when we were a small group of people here, I took them on a trek. So when we were walking, at that time, almost 6 weeks before that, a naval helicopter took off from Mangalore. I heard stories about it, I don't know how far as true. People said there were some important documents on the plane and things like that, and on the helicopter, with 4 senior officers, 3 senior officers and the pilot. The helicopter crashed into the jungle. It's very thick. Western Ghat, the mountains and the jungle is very, very thick. And 6 weeks later, they had not found the helicopter. So a full battalion of army was camped there, combing the jungle from one end to another to locate this helicopter and recover whatever they had to recover from that place. So there was a whole battalion of armed personnel, maybe about 200, 250 people camped, and they were combing the jungles. They have been there for 6 weeks. So when we walked in, we were like… we were having problems cooking and everything because it was pouring rain and we had walked for a whole day, and then we walked into this army camp and made ourselves into uninvited guests because the food was smelling good. And you really know only the value of food only when you used your body like that. If you walk 20-30 kilometers in a day, at the end of the day, if you've not eaten the whole day, you really value food. So we walked in and this officer was very generous, he welcomed us and he was very happy to have us, the captain who was there. And one of the sergeants in India, in Indian Army, they're known as Havaldar. What? Huh? Havildars. And this guy just looked at us and he asked us, "Why are you walking?" He just said, "Just like that, we want to walk." He couldn't believe it. Just like that? We are here for 6 weeks, we're just waiting when this damn thing will be over. Every day we have to walk 20-30 kilometers searching for this damn helicopter which we can't find. And you're just walking for fun? He just wouldn't believe us. Is it possible that somebody could just walk for fun? Blisters in your legs and you know. He just couldn't believe that. He doesn't understand what he is doing as a force exercise in the army is keeping him so healthy and well. Yes, he doesn't understand that. Blisters in your legs and you know. He just couldn't believe that. He doesn't understand what he is doing as a force exercise in the army is keeping him so healthy and well. Yes, he doesn't understand that. So, health, one of the simplest things about health is just to use the body. If you sufficiently use the body has everything to create health for itself. Does it mean to say that's the only thing, nothing else will happen to me, I'll be perfect? I would say, if we physically used our body as much as we should, I would say 80% of the ailments on this planet would just disappear. 80%. The remaining 20%, in that, another 10% is because of the type of foods that people are eating. They change the food habit, another 10% would disappear, that means only 10% ailment would remain. That has happened because of variety of reasons. One is karmic, another could be atmospheric, and there are other aspects that could have happened in the system which can be looked at. Out of all the sick people, if 90% of them become healthy just by using the body and eating the right food, 10% could be easily handled. But now, the volume of ailment is so big because we don't eat properly or we eat very properly and we don't use the body properly. So, apart from this, there are other aspects to life. To put it very simply, as you exercise your body, if you just do this 1,000 times a day, just do like this 1,000 times a day, and after 1 month, just see how well your hand will work. Nothing else, just sit here and just do this 1,000 times a day. After 30 days, you'll find your hand works wonderfully well. If you do that with your brains, it will work wonderfully well in a month's time. If you do this with your heart, it'll work wonderfully well. If you do that with your life energies, it will work wonderfully well. When all these things work well, that's health. So, you just have to use your body, use your head, and use your energies. If these three things are well exercised and balanced, you will be healthy. This happened to me once, this is way back I'm talking. This was just the second or third BSP, Bhavaspandana program I was conducting. And it was one of those little chow trees where, you had to run up the staircase and up and down any number of times because the arrangement was like that. I just counted that day, one particular day. I'm teaching, but I had to manage the kitchen and da-da-da, everything. I went up and down the staircase 125 times in that day. And I felt very healthy at the end of the Bhavaspandana. I'm sure many of you who volunteered in the Bhavaspandana programs have become very strong and healthy. Sudden burst of activity may lay you down, but if you build activity into your life, physical, mental and energy, all these things if you build in, health will come. Your body is working well, your mind is working well, and your energy is supporting the two, making sure nothing goes wrong, that's health. Life is happening in full flow, that's health. Health is not an idea, it is not a medical idea. The medical fraternity and the medical knowledge has become more and more essential because we have built in very unhealthy lifestyles. Never before in the world, medicine had the kind of importance as it is having today. Simply because we are becoming more and more sedentary, so we are becoming more and more unhealthy. 100 years ago, what a 60-year-old person was doing, physical activity, that much activity a 20-year-old cannot do it today. That means we're just weakening humanity. A degenerate humanity we will become over a period of time. So, you must use it. Health is not something that you invent. Health is not your idea. Health is life happening well. The life process is happening well, that's health. Health is life's way. If you allow life to function fully, it is healthy. All yogic practices, doesn't matter what you're doing, whether you do asana, yama, niyama, pranayama, asana, whatever, dharana, dhyana, samadhi, shunya, whatever you may be doing, essentially all of it is coming from the fundamentals of bhuta shuddhi or cleansing the elements. Or if you cannot cleanse, if you're such a hopeless case, transcending the elements. Vibhuti, that's why. Beyond the elements. If you cleanse the elements, you will live a wonderful life. If you're beyond that, the best thing is to transcend. Forget about living a beautiful life, just transcend the life. Because living a beautiful life is a more complex situation than transcending. Transcending means you're beyond it. What's beyond is not bothered by so many complexities of the physicality. But if you want to be in the physical and still above that, then it takes a little more mastery over the physical. If you have no mastery over the physical, you will get enslaved to the physical. So bhuta shuddhi essentially means you want to first cleanse it so that slowly you come to your state which we call as bhuta siddhi. That means you have mastery over the elements. Everybody has some kind of capability with the elements, otherwise you wouldn't even live a normal life. Right now, how well organized the five elements are in your system decides how firm and stable and organically strong this body is. It's just… body is a play of five elements. So is the world, so is the universe. Everything is a play of five elements. In these five, unless you want to explore mystical dimensions, you don't have to bother about the space. So there are only four. Among the four, 72% of your body is just water. Just so you can see. You're just a water bottle, 3/4 full, you know. You need to understand, it is in sync with the planet. Approximately 72% of the planet is water. Do you know this? Yes? That is how life has evolved. Whichever way the nature of the planet is manifested in your body in many different ways. So about 2/3 of the planet is water, 2/3 of the body is water. So when you eat food, you must always eat food where the water content in the food is over 70%. This one thing the Western societies are ignoring and paying a huge price. Now everywhere it's becoming like that. If you eat any vegetable, it will be over 70% water. If you eat a fruit, it'll be over 90% water. If you want cleansing to happen, you must eat fruit. If you just want to maintain the body as it is, vegetable does this. Almost any Asian cooking usually has over 70% water naturally. That's how traditions created it, they were aware of it. It's only Western diets which are dry. You drink water, it doesn't work like that. The food should have over 70% water content. So 72% is water. Another 12% is earth, you know. Only 12% of your body is actually earth. Largely it is water, so that's 84%. Another 6% is air. Air is the easiest thing to manage and take charge of because there is breath and you can take charge of it in a certain way. Another 4% is fire. Taking mastery over fire could do many things to you, but because you are householders living in family situation, you don't have to take charge of fire. You can keep it as it is, sometimes you can burn somebody a bit. You need it, right? You're married. Once in a way, if you don't burn them a bit, it may not work. Yes or no? The remaining 6% is space. You don't have to bother about that unless you want to explore mystical dimensions of the existence. To live well, 4 elements is enough. 5th one is not relevant for people who just want to live well. Taking charge of this, there's a whole system of practices. Some are direct, others are roundabout. Bhuta Shuddhi can be practiced in a most simplistic way or in a highly sophisticated way. Taking charge of the elements is in many ways. One thing is how you consume these elements, how you treat these elements. The whole system of ancient cultures were about treating the 4 elements right. The 4 elements are the basis of your creation. If you have even a minor mastery over it, you will start living in ways that other people think is magical. Nothing magical, because right now you drink water. See how it is? Does it look like you? Does it look like you? Does it look like you? Does it resemble any of you? But if you drink this, it becomes you, isn't it? Isn't this magical? This itself, life itself is magical. There's nothing in life which is not magical, isn't it? Just some disease got cured, that is not the miracle. Look at this becomes you. This is a phenomenal miracle, isn't it? Once you're capable of performing this miracle, you should be capable of many other minor things. Fixing an ailment or you damage something, fixing it, all these things should be possible because you're creating the whole body from inside, isn't it? Using the four elements, you are creating a whole body. Unfortunately, it's happening unconsciously, that's all. So, bringing consciousness to how these four elements are becoming human body. When I say human body, from this water you're manufacturing a highly sophisticated mechanism, isn't it? Yes or no? What this amounts to is, if I just pour this water on the floor, it became iPad. What would you call that? Suppose this glass of water, I poured it down and there this water became iPad. What do you call that? Miracle, isn't it? The same thing, I drink this becomes I. This not a miracle? I was in the same trip I came to Deagle Airport and there was a grumpy-looking security man. He asked, "Any fluids?" I said like this. He got irritated, he looked at me like this. Then he put my bag there, "Computer?" I said like this. He burst out laughing. We are too impressed with what's happening around us. What's happening within us is too big, isn't it? Yes? All computers are a small manifestation of this, isn't it? We are enamored with that, but not enamored with this. That is our problem. So, looking inward itself is Bhuta-shuddhi. If that's not possible for you, there are simple processes. There are practices, there are rituals, there are elaborate systems as to how to take charge of elements. Or if you don't know how to do it, somebody can perform something from which everybody can benefit. There are Bhuta-shuddhi rituals. For example, every month there is Panchabhuta Aradhana happening in the Dhyanalinga. You don't know how to do it. Somebody else will do it, you just sit there in the presence and benefit from that.